You're listening to The Sickle, only on WVCU. Previously on The Sickle.
Yes, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil, for he will be with me.
Huh? Who's this?
This is...
Reverend Timothy Burgess. Pleased to meet you, Mr.
Elmsbrook. I assume the pastor here was giving us a tip for the investigation?
Not exactly, Detective. You see, he's actually... joining the investigation.
Your words mean nothing to me and my God.
Your God. Do you even know what God sounds?
Now what? What, Sarge?
Elmsbrook, I just received a call from the lab we sent the hair samples to.
And?
We know exactly to whom they belong. And as soon as we find him, we've got him.
Detective Elmsbrook and Professor Donnie Griffin are standing a few yards away from the entrance of the Maw of the Mountain, Elmsbrook gripping his cell phone tightly as he says to the sergeant,
What do you mean you got him? And how the heck did you get the results back so fast?
We should have known earlier. Our man has quite the reputation in town and in some of the larger surrounding cities. His DNA was readily available in their databanks.
Who is it?
A known drug dealer named Ernest Bones. He was also the suspect for the only murder recorded in Lily's Cradle's history, until now. The hair samples we sent off were undoubtedly his, connecting him directly to two of the crime scenes. His location during the past week has not been verified either.
Well, we may just have found him, Sergeant.
Did you three see him in that heaven-forsaken cave?
We couldn't see crap in there, though now there's only two of us.
What happened?
The preacher met the wrong end of some kind of blade. Took his head right off his shoulders.
Not another one. Do you know if he's still in the cave?
He should be. In fact, he didn't run from us. He chased us out.
You didn't pursue him, Elmsbrook?
I fired 5 shots at the maniac, and I might as well have thrown my shoe to save ammo. Not to mention I have a civilian with me, and we couldn't see a freaking thing. So no, I didn't pursue him.
All right then. Stay at the entrance of the cave so he can't slip out. What are the coordinates of your location?
Do you think I'm a freaking computer, Sergeant?
I actually happen to have a GPS with me. I brought it just in case. Hand the phone to me, and I can give them to the sergeant.
Huh. Way to think ahead there, Professor. Here. I'm gonna go ahead and watch the entrance of the cave.
All right. Sergeant? Are you ready for the coordinates?
Go ahead.
Okay. Looking at latitude here, we are... A few hours later, Elmsbrook and the professor are driving in the professor's car, away from the forest and towards the town.
Could you turn that off, please?
Huh? Did you say something?
The music. Shut it up.
Oh! Sorry, hold on.
I still can't believe that the sergeant or the forensic team didn't find this Bones character, or any trace of the preacher.
Nor can I. Didn't they say that they went down every passageway in that cave?
Yeah, all dead ends.
Gracious.
And after all that, the sergeant just tells us to go home while they hunt down the loose psycho? Something's still not lining up here.
What do you mean? Do you think the sergeant's...
Involved? No, I doubt that. But I also doubt he's taking everything into consideration. Sure, we have a positive DNA linking the guy to the crimes, but it seems convenient.
From your determination to see this case through to the end, I figured you'd be convinced by that evidence. Why the suspicions now?
When he arrived and you saw me pull him off to the side, I tried to tell him about what happened and that voice we heard.
I remember, yes.
As soon as I would try to go into detail about the preacher's conversations with the voice, the Sarge would shut it out. The same man that told me we were having a freaking pastor of all people joining the investigation is grabbing the first piece of evidence he can and ignoring the possibility of a preacher talking to a demon.
Do you believe?
I'm not saying either way. For all we know, the killer could be playing quite the trick on us. But as convinced of the supernatural as the sergeant was, I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me.
A demon? Huh.
Don't dissect it too much. That's just the first word that popped into my head, right before the boogeyman.
Oh, please don't use the word dissect until this investigation's over.
Sorry. So, how are you, holding up, Professor?
How am I holding up?
Did I just hear an echo or something? Yeah, how are you doing? I guess after all of this, you'd be rattled.
Huh. So you do care about other human beings after all. I don't believe it.
Don't make me regret asking a simple question, Egghead.
I'm sorry. That's just quite the turnaround from, well, yesterday.
Ugh. You think a man's just gonna spill his guts out like that back there to someone he doesn't trust?
Frankly, I didn't think you did trust, or even like for that matter, me at all.
Let's get something straight here, Professor. I don't like you. You're the most indecisive person I have ever met. You're like that kid at the pool who can't decide whether to jump in or not, and inevitably someone else has to either push you in or drag you away.
Now, hold on.
Shut up. Let me finish. You also overthink things so freaking much. Seriously, do you have a philosophical debate over which cereal to eat for breakfast?
No. There's no contest there. Count Chocula.
Not the point, Professor. Despite all of that, I felt a comfort in opening up to you. I can't believe I'm saying this emotional crap. Look, that kind of trust, I haven't seen in another person in over 15 years.
Well, after you told me about what happened to your daughter, I could certainly see why.
Yeah, though this stuff, it doesn't just happen. I told you earlier that it took me a long time to open up to the shrink.
Exactly how long was it?
Almost 3 years. He almost signed me off to another doctor a couple times. But to talk to you, it was about 2 days.
Why is that, Elmsbrook? What have I done to earn the trust of Chicago's most grizzled detective?
Why do you trust me? I did, well, almost,
Kill me? Well, to be frank, I've asked myself that question ever since that car of yours broke down. But I'm not sure. I suppose under all that grief and angst, I see a person that genuinely strives to get things done quickly and correctly, without hesitation. Something I know I could never attain.
Trust me, Professor. I'm not something that you want to attain. In fact, sometimes I wish I had a fresh start, just like you.
What do you mean?
Look at me, Egghead. I'm 45 years old, unmarried, still living in an apartment crappier than the one here in town, and I've spent a third of my life chasing after someone who's long dead.
Your daughter?
Why do you think I accepted the case? Or opened up my firm? I thought, maybe...
Maybe what?
Forget it. I'm here now, and it seems like the case is almost closed already.
Come on, Elmsbrook. You were opening up before, why proceed now? What did you think?
That's enough emotional therapy for the day.
No, Elmsbrook, not this time. What did you think?
Can it?
Elmsbrook?
What the heck do you want from me, Professor? Just because I share what happened to my little girl with you doesn't mean my whole freaking life is an open book to you.
It's the issue that has haunted you the most. I figured that would be the most difficult for you to divulge. What did you think when you took the case?
The same freaking thing I thought with every case I took. I thought I'd find the one who took my little girl. Jeez. Couldn't you have pieced that together, Professor?
I'm sorry, Elmsbrook. I didn't.
No, I'm sorry. With every phone call, every case file, every fax that come across my desk, I thought, maybe this time I'll find her. Or maybe I can finally wring the neck of the one who took her. Same thing for this one. In the back of my mind, I know she's dead. I just can't let go.
Gosh, I know I wouldn't be able to.
Maybe the time's come then. I don't know.
Well, thank you for opening up to me, Elmsbrook. As I said before, I know it was difficult for you.
Thanks for listening, Professor. Just don't expect a hug or for us to join hands and sing Kumbaya or anything like that.
Hardly. I'm not the hugging type myself.
I'd believe that one when I'd see it. Though back to my original question, how are you holding up?
I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely not the way I pictured spending my first week as a professor. But goodness, I'm unsure what to think of everything that's happened thus far. I have a lot of more thinking and processing to do. So much has changed in my way of thinking and seeing the world around me. Other than that, I suppose I'm doing fine.
Good, though. You sure are an expert at beating around the bush, Professor.
What can I say? In my line of work, there's no such thing as a short answer.
Yeah. Go ahead and turn the music back on. I think I'm gonna kick back before we get back to the complex.
All right. We'll return to the Sickle after these commercial messages. We now return to the Sickle, only on WVCU. The professor and the detective have returned to the apartment complex, each person going into their respective rooms.
All right, I'm turning in for the night. Guess I'll see you in the morning, Professor.
Sounds good. See you then. Whew. What a day. What a day indeed. Oh, hey there, Socrates. I bet you're starving. I don't think you've been fed since this morning. Here, I'll get you... Ooh! What the... Did I leave... Huh. I don't remember leaving a book on the floor here. Who in the world is Gideon? And why did he leave this here? Huh. How did this even get in here? I could have sworn I locked the door. Oh, I'm sorry, Socrates. Hold on. Here you go, boy. Do you even know the God you sell? Huh. A higher power. Should I still be afraid? That thing in the cave never refuted God, only chastised the minister. But if the minister believed so strongly and knew so much, why was he killed then? Is that where God gets his sick kicks or something? Yeah, here we go. So Joshua did to them as the Lord had told him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots with fire. And they struck all the people who were in it with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. Huh. Sounds like he delights in that sort of thing. Yet, what if the minister was punished? Because... And when all of these kings had met together, they came and camped together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. They were attempting to kill the Israelites. But such a brutal retaliation couldn't have been warranted from a simple act of war. Yet, the minister lost his head. Still, if the voice never refuted God, in fact claimed to believe as well, you believe that there is one God, you do well. Even the demons believe and tremble. Then one could infer that... A few days have passed, and Donnie is in his bed once again, his sheets sprawled everywhere as he tosses and turns. No. I can't. You've... No. You've no power. I know. Gracious. It knows. It knows. It knows, and I don't believe it's happy. I'm beyond its reach. Since I've... Thank you. Thank you for showing me everything. And for this peace. I know what I must do. But I might not be... Just in case. The logical part of me is screaming its head off at me. But I must do this. Socrates? Come here, boy. There you go. Good boy. Can't believe you held out so long, buddy. Ever since I was still in high school. You're an old fart, aren't you? Now, back to business. Whew. Only took a few hours, but it's done. Now let's print that off. It has to sing to me the song of its people before it spits out my papers. Here we go. You should be able to see right when you... Yes, okay. Let me see. GPS ready? Okay. All right. Here it goes. Please give me the courage, the faith. Socrates, be a good boy. I'll be back. We'll return to the Sickle right after a short news break. You're listening to The Sickle, only on WVCU. Detective Elmsbrook and Sergeant Luker are in the sergeant's office in the Lily's Cradle Police Department.
Well, Sarge, you told me over the phone that we bagged the guy the DNA matched with?
With a grand sigh of relief, I can at last say yes, Detective Elmsbrook. Heck, I even feel like leaping for joy at this point.
I'd rather not take you to the hospital.
I'm old, Elmsbrook, but not that old. At last, Lily's Cradle can breathe with ease.
I'm still not convinced.
Always the skeptic. Why don't you actually take some time to celebrate, Elmsbrook?
I'll celebrate when the case is closed.
The case is closed, Elmsbrook. We have the perp downstairs in a freaking jail cell.
I'm not so sure that man down there is the one we're looking for.
Fine. Argue with me all you want. But the evidence speaks for itself. We have hair samples that put him at the scene of the crime. His location was unaccounted for during the past week. Not to mention, we searched his entire house and found one of the missing plow blades with blood still caked on it. He even confessed to all the crimes, including the murder of the minister. We have absolutely everything we need to stick in court. He's as good as screwed.
Look around, Sergeant. At first we had no freaking clue at all even to what suspects we had. You were even endorsing the supernatural nature of the investigation 110%. And all of a sudden, a suspect, a wonderful pile of evidence, and a confession fall right out of the sky and into your lap? It seems quite convenient, wouldn't you say?
You knew those hair samples were out for testing. One thing led to another.
You sure that you didn't make them lead to one another?
What the crap are you implying?
You were so convinced of this religious ghost story crap throughout the investigation, and yet whenever the professor and I tell you about what happened in the cave and the conversation with an unknown voice, you pretend like it didn't happen.
He was just trying to mess with you, Elmsbrook. Please, keep your reasoning professional here.
Freaking... That's what I was trying to tell you in the first place, Sergeant, whenever you decided to include civilians in the most dangerous investigation in Bumpkin Central's history. Admit it, this, what was his name, Ernest Bones, is a freaking cop-out.
We have everything we need, Elmsbrook, and you've seen it yourself. It's been 3 days and not a single murder in sight. From an investigative standpoint, I'd say that matches.
What if you're wrong, Sergeant?
What if you are? As far as I'm concerned, the case is closed, Elmsbrook. Take a look at this as well.
What is it?
A bug. I found it under my desk. My guess is that the good old Reverend planted it here the first time he came to call. That's why he knew so much about the investigation.
That still doesn't prove anything about the Sickle's identity.
I'm telling you now, Elmsbrook, drop it. I've already arranged for your payment, plus a bonus, in good faith. Also, your rental car has been fixed, and your return flight to Chicago leaves tomorrow afternoon. On behalf of Lily's Cradle, I want to thank you for your assistance in this investigation. We can take it from here.
The job's not done. I want to talk to our supposed murderer.
Elmsbrook, fine. I've learned not to argue with you anymore. Maybe then it'll convince you to finally relax.
Sarge,
What, officer?
we're having some problems with the camera system. The feed's gone dark.
Again? Blast it all. Alright, hold on. We'll look at it together. Just make your way downstairs, Elmsbrook. The holding cells are further down the hallway, past the morgue. On the right.
All right. Jeez. Freaking file cabinet. Huh? What's this? To Lily's Cradle Police Department. 10,000. Well, someone has sticky fingers, it seems. Huh.
Down in the cells, an upper middle-aged Ernest Bones sits in the interrogation room with hands cuffed and his legs rested on the table.
Careful with this one, Detective. He's a bit crafty.
I'll manage, thanks.
You must be that Elmsbrook character everybody's been yammering about. Now I feel honored to be dragged out of my cell for such an occasion. Man of a few words, eh? Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Bones. Ernest Bones.
Charmed. So you're the notorious Sickle.
So I've been called. You saps already worked a confession out of me. So what's this all about? Ah! Freak! What was that for?
I guess you realize you just admitted to the murders of 8 people.
That doesn't mean I'm freaking proud of it. But yes. What's wrong with you?
There's no sane or insane person alive that would admit to that. Not before their lawyer got to them.
Speaking of which, where's mine? I bet he loves the show that you're putting on right now.
Unfortunately, the cameras are experiencing some technical difficulties. Which means every time you lie, you get one of those. Your confession is fake, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking.
I bet you do. Though I'm in the dark about this. Why don't you get me up to speed before I break a finger next?
Jeez, Lou freaking Ease! Alright. Yeah. I'm not the Sickle. Whatever you said. Truth is, I was out of town during this whole week.
Doing what?
Restocking my merchandise.
Don't make it sound so innocent.
Alright. It was Mary J. Almost $20,000 worth. The sergeant informed me that the stuff found with the first 3 dead teenagers came from my previous batch.
Did it?
Yeah. I remember cutting the kids a deal. They were drunk and paid a lot more than what they owed. I figured I could.
Save it. Did you know that they were going into the forest after that?
One kid kept hollering about it, but I swear, I didn't know for sure.
What about the hair samples? Were you informed about that as well?
Yeah. Though I haven't been to a stinking farm in ages. Cows freak me out. And as far as coming down to the morgue, I've already told you. I wasn't in town all week. But... I couldn't give the sergeant alibi.
How do you think they got there?
The heck if I know. Along with that freaking bloody plow blade at my house. I was arrested not too long after I found it. I wonder if it was... No. I'm through playing your game. I'm shutting up until my lawyer gets here.
You've already damned yourself anyway, so you've got nothing to lose. Spill it.
You won't believe me. Well, My wife,
What about your wife? Is she somehow involved?
No, she's not. She's, dead.
Then what the crap does she have to do with this then?
She's the victim of Lily's Cradle's first murder trial 15 years ago.
Once again, why does that matter now?
You want me to squawk, Northerner? Well, let me finish. She was killed and a suspect was never found. Except for, well, yours truly.
Go on.
Well, them uniformed degenerates charged me and dragged me into court. But couldn't find the evidence to convict me for the murder of my wife. So I was sent on my merry way.
Quite cheerful about this, aren't you?
Because I was freaking innocent. I wasn't in the right... Well, I mean...
You killed her, didn't you?
I didn't say that. You did. Even if I did, I can't be charged for it again. You knuckle-draggers familiar with double jeopardy? I'm not saying it anymore. Now get your freaking trench coat covered butt out of...
Gotta love these soundproof rooms.
Let go! Let go!
You know, I'm sure the gangbangers at the state correctional facility will really appreciate a convicted serial killer with a broken arm. Takes all the work out of...
All right. I get the point. Let go, please.
As you were saying, Mr. Bones.
I won't say anything else about that. Or this crazy mess that's going on right now. But I know where you can get the information you need.
Where?
My house. 240 West Gray Avenue. Can't miss it. Last house on the left. The police weren't thorough enough 15 years ago, and they weren't thorough enough yesterday either. Under the floorboards, right next to the couch. You'll see what I mean.
Thanks. And one more thing.
What?
If you were innocent of these new string of murders, why did you plead guilty to them so quickly?
Come closer. Yesterday, after your colleagues interrogated me the first time, some weird-looking fella in a black suit came in. Spouted off some legal crap. I thought he was my lawyer at first, but he proposed a deal.
What kind of deal?
He said that he knew the nature of what was going on here in this town, and said that it didn't need to see the light of day. So he told me that if I agreed to take the blame for the Lily's Cradle murders and keep my mouth shut about them from now on, then my prison sentence would be drastically reduced and erased from my records completely. I'd have a clean slate.
Did he say what organization he was from?
No. He slipped out of the room after that without another word. Honest to goodness.
All right, then.
Since I was charitable enough to spill the beans and such, do I get a good word put in for me from you, Mr. Elmsbrook?
I'll consider it. Stay warm, Mr. Bones.
Stay warm like Tuggus. I'm not going outside anytime soon.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages. We now return to the Sickle, only on WVCU. Detective Elmsbrook stands at the entrance of a poorly kept, almost dilapidated home at the corner of the street.
Nice place, only slightly worse than my apartment. Unlocked. Huh. Let's get the lights on in here. Still a bloodstain. Sheesh. All along the floor here, too. Now, where is that? Ah, here we go. What do we have here? A boombox. Haven't seen one of those since the 90s. And some cassettes. Nothing on them except numbers. Guess number 1 couldn't be a bad place to start.
Is this on? I think it is. Alright. My name is Ernest Bones, and this is January 15th, 1999. This is the audio diary of my trip through hell. That witch in there has had it too good for too long. She pushes me around all the day long and says I'm the piss-poor husband. Please. I'm going to record my struggles for the public to finally hear and realize that the pleasant, sociable woman that's out in public is a terror once that front door closes. I'll be back with another report next time. How do I do this? End of tape 1.
At least use a whole cassette, Bones.
Ernest Bones, January 17th, 1999. Audio diary number 2. The wife and I had another fight today. This time she threw a freaking pan at me. It conked my forehead and left a welt the size of Texas on there. There is no love or respect for me in this relationship anymore. She's mutated from this beautiful and frankly smoking hot woman I married into this ugly, irritable. I don't even know what she is now. And when I bring up divorce to her, she screams at me even more than usual, saying that she could never compromise this family. If this is her definition of family, I don't want any part in it anymore. If she won't let me leave, then she's got to go. End of tape 2. Ernest Bones, January 21st, 1999. I found it. My ace in the hole. Many people will call me desperate for turning to old wives' tales. But I ain't got the choice, now do I? All the kids in the Lily's Cradle area know the legend of the Spirit of Justice. But what they don't realize is that the crap that went down actually happened. A buddy of mine gave me this book of ancient Indian sayings and magic-y practices that should call the Spirit of Justice to my aid. He'll know how to deal with that insufferable varmint formerly known as my wife. The only thing that remains is to go to the Mall of the Mountain. Better get my boots and jacket on. End of tape 3. Ernest, well, you know who it is. January 22nd, 1999. I've made it to the Mall of the Mountain. and I've already started the ritual to ask the spirit of justice to help. I gotta call the son of a gun by this Indian name for him to respond. Oh, Colonel freaking Kawayas Kawatisawan, noble spirit of justice, hear me and help me. My wife abuses and mistreats me every day of my life. She will not let me leave her. But I can't keep going on like this. Please help me in my...
What the?
End of tape 4.
Wonder where I've heard that before.
January 30th, 1999. It's Bones. Or, at least I think it is. I haven't been sleeping well at all. So many freaking nightmares, I swear. Something's been talking to me for the past week. I try to tell my wife about it, and she says I'm nuttier than squirrel crap. Huh. Nothing happened that I know of at the Mall of the Mountain. So, I've been trying to live my life. My freaking crappy life. Until I can think of something better to do. A voice. Every day. I've been waking up with my hands closer and closer to my wife's throat. Thank God I wake up before she does. Otherwise... No. Wait. It's coming back. No, it's coming back. And to tape 5. Or whatever.
Just what did you step in, Bones?
February 4th, 1999. I understand that this fool has been keeping a diary of sorts. Very well. Why spoil such a fascinating trend? His hatred of his wife is a fantastic wellspring of energy. A delicious source indeed. Though, as I promised, the deed is done. That woman lies dead in the living room. A thrilling kill. I haven't got to stretch my legs in centuries, it seems. Her eyes that were paled with fear are now glazed over in the harmonious rhapsodies of death.
Jeez.
Her blood fell to the ground with the most satisfying sound, like water falling on a pleasant garden. Yet, the pistol clasped in her hands, the bullet casings lining the ground, and the holes that I carved in her head. My friend here has the vindication he so desperately clamored for. I hope it tastes good. March 9th, 1999. I can no longer cope with this body. This idiot has made it fat and weak with years of negligence. And with his wife eliminated and his life spared from jail, there is no motivation to make up the difference. Without another vessel, though, I am chained to this filthy form. I would need something more malleable. I wonder. An underdog Chicago police officer has demonstrated tremendous ability and courage by single-handedly uncovering a secret embezzlement scam conducted by the Illinois governor.
successfully exonerating the charges from the State Treasurer, Terry Barnett. Elmsbrook, eh? Well. Let's see how the Windy City is faring this time of year.
You've got to be freaking kidding me. There's no way that... Perfect timing as usual. What, Sergeant?
Ellsbrook, we just got a 911 call.
From whom?
We traced the number. It's Professor Donnie Griffin's cell phone, Ellsbrook.
What did he say?
He never left a message. He called 3 times. Each one, he hung up right after the responder picked up the phone. Ellsbrook, he may be in serious danger.
I thought you said the case was closed, Sergeant.
There's no time for that right now, Ellsbrook. It was good that he called 3 times. We were able to triangulate his location.
Where is he?
He seems to be in the area near the Mall of the Mountain.
I'm going there immediately.
I would suggest waiting for backup, Ellsbrook. We don't know if something's still in there or not.
No time. I remember the way, and if we wait, the professor might pay for it.
All right. Be careful, Ellsbrook. Officers will be shortly behind you.
Got it. Hang on there, Egghead.
Tune in again next Friday, April 25th, for the thrilling conclusion of The Sickle, only on WVCU.